Okay, guys, we got this video here from Obese to Beast. It's about Lizzo. Apparently, Fatphobia made Lizzo quit. I'm curious about it. I don't really know what that means. I thought that Lizzo kind of played into like she was she was like an overweight. Well, she is an overweight woman. There's nothing wrong with that, you know. Well, I can't say that because people will have a meltdown. You should always try to be doing healthier, but it is okay if you exist as being overweight. I got to make sure I say that to my very sensitive audience that'll take that as me co-signing that it's a good thing to be overweight. Anyway, her mantra thing was that like she was an overweight, strong, confident woman, and I think that added to her appeal, and because I can respect that. But apparently maybe some of the stuff got to her. Let's see what this says.
Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for clicking on today's video. Today we're going to be talking about Lizzo. Back in the news, okay. There was recently Tina Turner passed away very sadly, and Lizzo did a kind of like a tribute to her and the music that she made, and that caused quite a bit of controversy. So let's head over to Twitter, sadly. So this is the tweet right here. This is the video. I can't play it because copyright, but basically she's singing one of Tina Turner's songs, and then she takes off her, little covering and does this, right? This is something that Tina Turner would do. She was kind of iconic for doing this type of thing, cool. Especially in this song, right? And then the tweet goes on to say, "How is Lizzo still this fat when she's constantly moving this much on stage? I wonder what she must be eating."
That's just so stupid because it's supposed to be a celebration of Tina Turner, and they're doing like an homage by emulating Tina Turner there, and like that. Why? Like, why do that? I think that's disrespectful to Tina Turner to even bring that up, to be honest with you. Let her just be respected. Let Lizzo respect her. Who cares? It's just so weird, Like, when people will say, like, oh, I don't like it. I don't know. It's just stupid to me. Like, why?
Now, the first thing I will say is, like, I can understand, like, having that thought because it's clear that Lizzo does move around quite a bit.
She seems rather athletic.
Her performances, she's running around. It's a lot. It's actually genuinely very impressive. I think that,
but you don't have to express every thought that you have. Okay, saying it people with ADHD
in this way is just so unnecessarily mean.
And it's disrespectful.
And, like, if you genuinely have that question, I just don't understand why you have to ask it in this way. So
this is one of the problems, is that like a lot of these people who will like say this shit on social media are ugly. And they don't want people to be mean to them, but because people find them to be ugly all the time, they feel the need to criticize other people like this. I mean, it's literally that Leafy syndrome. It's a bunch of people who are afraid to show their faces that criticize other people and their bodies when they are truly, like, there's nothing going for them other than they can be kind of mean sometimes. But they're incredibly sensitive people who like will refuse to show their face, and like they're the same ones that are crying about how women won't fuck them. And it's like, well, maybe it's because you're constantly disrespectful to women. Not for nothing, but being respectful to all women is one way to get pussy. Because if you are like, oh, I hate, like, you don't have to be attracted to fat women or whatever. It doesn't really matter. But if you're going around with this attitude of like any woman that you find unattractive, because it's mostly men criticizing Lizzo, people are going to pick up on that. The reason why a lot of fat guys hate fat women is because they don't think that they're attractive, and men operate with what their penis thinks. You don't have to express every thought of like, oh, this is disgusting to me, blah, 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 blah. Like, that's what you're doing. That's all you really boils down to. You don't find Lizzo attractive, and that's perfectly fine. You don't have to, but you need to express that. And constantly expressing stuff like that, constantly like picking at people's shortcomings like that, especially as a man, that's why you're not getting pussy. Because like you're not respectful fundamentally. You don't have to find her attractive, but to sit here and cry every time she exists on stage, like she's doing it, she's honoring Tina Turner by emulating emulating a thing that she would do on stage. That's why you're not getting any pussy, bro.
Response to that, she actually privated her Twitter, so I had to get this somewhere else. I just logged on to this app and I see this type of stuff. I see about me on a daily basis. It's really starting to make me hate the world. Then someone in the comments said, I eat lots of fast food. I literally stopped eating fast food years ago. I'm tired of explaining myself all the time, and I just want to get on this app without seeing my name in some, I'm assuming this is like bitch's mouth or something like that. So this is what I, like when I talk about just because a fat person is existing, it's like people will get upset about it, right? Because Lizzo, in that clip, I know we've talked about Lizzo before, there are certain things, and there are certain things even in this response that I don't necessarily agree with, which we will get into. But just her being on stage, doing a tribute to Tina Turner, where she takes her clothes off. It's like people see that and they just get so upset, and I don't understand why.
Well,
and
that's because they're not really upset. That's the thing. Nobody's actually upset about this. Listen, we shouldn't be actively sitting here saying it's a good thing to be overweight. Of course, it comes with a lot of health problems. But the existence of a fat person doesn't need to constantly be mocked. But nobody really cares. People don't care. They don't. Nobody cares. Nobody's trying to defend kids from having bad eating habits. Blah blah blah. People are just mean, and they're virtue bullying. They're going, well, it's not good to be fat because it's not good to be overweight. And they're saying because of that, I can now bully fat people, and I'm trying to help you. That's the cope that is being engaged in. But nobody actually cares. You don't care about the health of the people that you're bullying. You just want to feel good about yourself. You want to just shit on somebody for the virtue of their existence. And again, it's mostly people who can't get pussy because they don't know how to be respectful. That's what it comes down to.
Like, people will be in the comments saying like, "Oh, I just care so much about her health," and
nobody cares.
Come on, dude. Like, it. At the end of the day, like, if she's not sitting here saying. Like, I can understand responding to something that has been said, which we will actually be doing in this video, right? I can understand that.
Why is this not working?
But just someone existing on stage and then being like, "Oh, I can't believe they would do this," or "What must they be eating?" or like, "Their health must be in shambles," is just, in my opinion, is just so unnecessary.
Well, she seems to be very active. She's probably fairly healthy, even though she's overweight. I would say most overweight people probably not so much, but...
And it's so clear that the thought is, I don't like that this person is fat. It's not.
That's
I just
the thought,
care about their health. The thing that I wanted to respond to in this tweet, because again, like, I don't agree fully with either of the people, right? So with Lizzo, she says, someone in the comments said, I must eat a lot of fast food. I literally stopped eating fast food years ago, right? So this is like this common thing that I think so many people struggle with, is they think fast food is like so unbelievably much worse than going to a restaurant, when a lot of times you go to a restaurant, and especially if we're talking about just like weight loss and calories, right? If you go to a restaurant, you will end up eating significantly more calories than, say, if you just got a meal at McDonald's, right? Because the amount of food that you get at a restaurant, the amount of food that you get at these places, whether they're quote unquote healthy or not, if you are overeating healthy calories, you will not lose weight. You will still hold on to excess weight. And so many people, they just think that...
It's just obviously harder to overeat healthier calories because they're usually more filling. But I get what he's saying. It's still not a bad idea to stay away from the fast food because it's a lot of filler bullshit. It's really not going to make you as full as eating real shit. But obviously he knows that because he lost a lot of weight. You know, God bless. God bless.
And I understand, because I felt the same way for so long. I'm not saying I go get fast food all the time, but I'll get Chipotle. Some people might not call that fast food, but like, you know, I'm not like against it. You can never have it. But so many people think that fast food in and of itself is so much worse than like regular types of food. So the next thing that I wanted to bring up was actually this TikTok on Lizzo's TikTok. And she talks about how her assistant ended up ordering some food. We're not going to watch the whole thing because a lot of it's her like trying food and I just don't want to watch that. But there's a little bit, there's some stuff that I think is interesting. It's pertinent to this information.
Hey everybody, so I have had really bad acid reflux, and please don't comment on it. I don't need y'all telling me no scary shit. I also have anxiety.
Well, honestly, it's probably because it might be a diet thing. You know, you got to be careful of that. You know, got to be careful. You start burning your throat lining, and then you know you might fuck yourself up a little bit. So.
All right,
I work on it and I treat it, and it's been acting up. So I've been super on a reflux diet. Which if you don't know what that is, Google it.
I might.
But I've also been in my feelings. And
I wouldn't be surprised if it was this stuff that's going on, right? I mean, I could be wrong, but
it probably is.
I've been depriving myself of certain foods. So I'll literally just be like, I wish I could have this, but then I don't get it, you know, because I know it'll either upset my reflux or it'll just throw me off of my progress. But my assistant will always just order everything on the menu of a restaurant. And normally I would make a video about this, but
I mean, that's kind of, I think that's kind of weird. I don't know, maybe that's just me, but like if
her assistant, like she lets her assistant do too much. She probably does it because there's probably a bunch of people that might want to eat it. So like, oh, let's get a little bit of everything and we can share. But that's crazy.
You're someone that doesn't want to be eating these foods. I would say stop doing that to my assistant. But
that's true too.
I don't have an assistant, so I don't know what that's like.
But this place is called El Jardin, the Garden, and it's a Mexican vegan place. And from the look of this,
I guess this is in San Diego actually, which is where I live. So interesting.
Cool beans.
Drink alone, I feel like the food gonna be busting. So let's try it.
Gonna be busting.
Just kidding, I'm not gonna read it. So who came up with a rating system? Because you know I've been watching food TikTok for years. Who started rating food?
Do you watch Keith Lee? Lizzo knows who Keith Lee is. He's growing on me too. I was like, what is this? This is silly, but you know, it kind of slaps. Kind of been slapping. I watched this pizza review today. I felt bad for the pizza place because he shit on that pizza place, And I was like, damn, that food looks all good to me. And he's like, it's like a 3.5 out of 10. I'm like, damn, really shit on him there.
Because y'all be in y'all bag with these numbers. Y'all be like, it's a 3.7 out of 10.
You have an onion tolerance?
It's a 9.6, 9 3/4. Y'all wildin'. Oh, let me show you what I got. It appears that I have a tamale. Look like a bacon, egg, and cheese bagel. Another bagel for some odd reason.
Bacon, egg, and cheese.
Strange foods. A tamale and then bagels. Okay.
And this appears to be a crazy box of nachos. Some
nacho cheese.
So you saw that whole box of nachos, right? Okay.
So what we're not gonna do is eat the nachos. And
so she's saying right here that she's not gonna eat the nachos and like one of the other things. But then it says here that I stress ate the nachos later, and it's 10. We'll get into that in a little bit.
That other bagel. We're gonna eat the tamale and try the bacon.
That's a fucking mood, bro.
Egg and cheese.
Ooh. All right. So the rest of the TikTok is her just trying the food, so I don't want to get into that.
Okay. Okay.
So I think that this is just interesting because I have talked to so many people that are trying to lose weight. I've worked with people that are trying to lose weight. And that's why I brought up the whole fast food thing, because yeah, I guess this technically isn't fast food, but the amount of calories in this type of food is going to be similar, if not more. And the breakdown of the macros.
Yeah, you know what? I get where he's going now, because it's considered vegan and people will be like, oh, since it's healthier, like it's like okay for me to eat as much as I want of it. That makes sense. That makes sense.
Are going to be similar, if not worse, right, than fast food. And it's just so interesting that so many people, they latch on to like fast food is bad, and they don't like see other types of food as maybe not being the best as well, I guess is what I'm trying to say. The point that I'm trying to make is like, if Lizzo wants to lose weight, I do think that there maybe are things that she could do a little bit better to make that happen, if that's something that she wants, right? I think that if there was genuine issues going on, if there was a way that like maybe she could, I'm sure she could afford to make sure she gets checked out and see if there's any like underlying medical issues that are making it so, because even though she's in a deficit, she's not losing weight. Maybe there's something there. I don't know.
Well, that's impossible. We know that. You can't be in a deficit and not lose weight.
I would assume that she would have talked about it if there was. I feel like she's a pretty open book. And so it's clear that the energy balance is just off. And I do think that there are ways to fix that, if that's something that she wants to do. If it's not something that she doesn't want to do, then by all means, you don't have to do it, right? But it just seems like there just feels like with these videos that I've seen of Lizzo, the stuff that she's posted, it seems like there is a want in some way to lose weight. But it's almost like she cannot say that because she feels like kind of tied to this version of herself.
I don't think that's true at all. Like I get it. Like she's like she's the thick queen and all that. I don't know that there's necessarily a desire to lose weight. I'm sure there's a desire to be healthier. I think that there's a desire to not constantly get bullied for her weight, like constantly. And she might not express it because of that. She might not really want to talk too much about her weight because she'll feel like people want or something. But I don't think that she's tied to some body positivity narrative that makes her not want to lose weight. In general, people who are fat, like a lot of times want to stay like a little bit big because it's part of their identity, and I get that. But I think a lot of it's just like toxicity she's receiving from people constantly, and it's just kind of fucking her up. Maybe she doesn't want to give them a win or something. But
that is like the bigger performer, and I'm not saying that she wants to get tiny or slim or anything like that, but it just feels like, because she's like, oh, I don't want to get off program, I don't want to get off, you know, it just seems like there is a want to improve the diet, at least that, right? There's a want to improve the diet, and it seems like, I mean, it's clear that she is very busy, there's lots of stuff that she's doing, I'm sure, right? But I would like to see her be successful if that's something that she wants to do. I think that it is really disgusting that people will just like see her performing and be like, what must she be eating? She's so fat, blah, blah. But then they'll use the guise of, I just care about her health. I think like that's just really petty. And I think that you're hiding behind something. Like if you just say how you feel, right? Without trying to hide behind that. I just care about her health. Like, I don't know. That's
just say, I just hate fat people. Just say that, you know, even though it's wrong, it's fine. At least you're being honest. You're not pretending to care. It's just annoying. It's very churlish. Very churlish.
And I wanted to share this information with y'all. What do you think? Let me know down in the comment section down below. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Peace.
All right, cool. Cool beans. Cool video.